it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded. Better nice, I'm looking at the camera. Heading on, good, good, good. Slowly release the clutch into the friction zone, right? We want to do everything smoothly. But there's an asterisk on that too. Slowly releasing the clutch into the friction zone. Because sometimes when people release the clutch slowly, immediately they start feeling falling. Then you see a foot come down. And that's when we introduce open close. Who's not familiar with open close? Everybody's familiar with open close. What's open? No. Open close is referring to the clutch. So sometimes if I want to get past that falling feeling right from the beginning, I'll open my clutch quicker and close it right back. I'm just getting it past that falling feeling, right? And once I do that, I'm good. And if I need it again, I'll do it again. We're gonna talk about that when we do the slow ride, because that's where it's mostly relevant. Step number 5. As soon as your motorcycle starts to move, guys, pick your left foot up. Why not your right foot? Because it's covering the rear brake. So, motorcycle starts to move, this foot's down, I don't want to see this. As a matter of fact, I don't ever want to see this foot behind you, taking off or stopping, right? Because that's how we get hurt, our foot behind us. Something hard is waiting for it, especially when we start leaning. So the first things we're going to be doing today, guys, we're not leaning, we're not turning, right? We got to get all of this stuff down before we start introducing that stuff. And that's the stuff I'm talking about is friction zone, rear brake, friction zone, rear brake, and being comfortable doing that. And starting and stopping. All right, let's talk about starting and stopping the motorcycle. Because like I was saying earlier, I'm looking at everybody come in, the U-turns are great, and then the stop is terrible, right? Because the slowest you will ever go on a motorcycle is the end of a stop. And that's where this skill comes in. And it comes in even more so when you're coming out of a turn to stop. So this is how you properly park a motorcycle, 90 degrees. And when you guys came in today, I'm watching all of you. And it tells me a lot about where you are as a motorcycle rider. So some of you guys, man, it looks good, it looks good. As soon as it gets to that stop, it falls apart. Some of you are stopping, handlebars turn. We don't stop with the handlebars turn, not even slightly, right? And this whole skill that I'm talking about as far as stopping your motorcycle properly, this is when it's most relevant, coming out of a turn, okay? All right. So like most people, when I'm bringing my motorcycle to a stop, I pull the clutch all the way in and I just let it coast. But at a certain point, that's gonna run out. And that's when motorcycle riders usually will say, I feel falling, time to stop. Front brake, 2 feet out, abrupt stop. All day today, guys, I want you stopping like this. Either like that or in stride. If you stop your motorcycle today and it's anything other than this, unacceptable. That's how I want you to feel, right? Because if it's anything other than that, if I stop my motorcycle and my foot goes like this, what was happening? Falling. That's right, it was falling. And no matter how slight that is, even if it's like this, the bike was falling. So how do we deal with that at the end of that stop?
So make sure you're in the friction zone, apply a little bit of power so that it stays upright.
That's right. She said, make sure you're in the friction zone and apply a little bit of power. So we're going to reverse that because 3 always comes before 4. You're going to make sure you have the power first, preload, then you're going to go into that friction zone. How much you're going to go into the friction zone depends on what you feel. Now, this is another example of somebody in the comment section said, oh, this is so stupid. I don't ever need this. I don't have an issue stopping. I would love to see him stop. Because I could guarantee you what he's doing is he's keeping the motorcycle under speed as long as possible so that he doesn't have to deal with anything. And then at the end, it's an abrupt stop. But we're not going to be doing that today. So all day today, guys, that's how I want you stopping. You need to introduce the friction zone at the end of that stop. friction zone, rear brake, rear brake, rear brake. And I want you guys to step outside of your comfort zones a little bit, right? And by that I mean, if you're used to using speed, I don't want you to use it today. I want to see the handlebars doing this, and I want you to work that out, okay? And we work that out with the friction zone and the rear brake. The friction zone and the rear brake. Any questions about any of that? All right, I'm gonna show you two different things, guys. I'm gonna demo two different things for you. The first thing is gonna be a smooth stop. As I approach you, I'm gonna have the clutch all the way in. I'm not gonna have a preload. And then when I get to the end of that stop, you're gonna hear my RPMs go up. I'm gonna start going into the friction zone, rear brake, rear brake. Now the reason this stop, heel toe, is advantageous is because it helps you with your coordination. And sometimes when people stop, if I see them stop and they put their foot down and then their foot stops like this, what does that tell me? They're not applying enough rear brake, right? Or they'll put their foot down twice. They're going too fast, right? And just when you think we're doing slow riding today, guys, we're not riding fast. And I already know you're gonna be like, what the hell's he talking about? I was going slow. That's your slow. It's a different kind of slow out here. We're gonna be going slow, okay? So that means every time you stop your bike today, that's how I want you to stop. When we start turning, if you see that you struggle keeping that bike upright and making a turn straight up, don't waste time doing turns leaning. Do it straight up. Because remember, well, let me not say remember. Whenever I do my private lessons, I have people that come on and say, Rob, I just need help with U-turns. That's it. I say, okay, great. I always start them with smooth, short starts and stops and the slow ride. That's the foundation. The reason why you're having a problem with the U-turns is because you're having a problem with that. And anything that we do with the bike straight up in the friction zone, it's always going to take more skill than anything leaning. Because if you lean, you need speed. And anytime you have speed, you have assistance, right? We don't want assistance today, right? I want it to be all on you. That's part of being a boss of anything. Responsibility goes up here. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Questions? All right, demo. Clutch in. Preload, friction zone, rear brake, rear brake, rear brake. So when your motorcycle comes to a stop, I'm looking at your front suspension. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it at all, right? Again, this is how you're supposed to train. I want extra. I'm not going to always get it, and you're not going to always get it. But when you don't get it, I want to see you go, shit, at some point. Because this is something that you can practice every time you ride, because you have to stop, right? So you should be saying to yourself, okay, I want to do a smooth stop, friction zone, and when I stop, I want my bike to be straight up. If it's leaned even a little bit, because I'm not short, so I know I pulled this clutch in too early. And listen, when you get to the end of a stop, as soon as I take the power away, it wants to fall. That's what it's going to start doing. And if your bike leaned, that's what was happening. So remember, friction zone, rear brake, and keep that clutch out until you put this foot down. Then pull it in, right? Remember, we're in a very low part, 0.5, 1. We're not high in the friction zone at all, so we're fine, okay? All right, let me show you what open close is, guys. So this is an example of when I would start out applying the rear brake right from the start. What does the rear brake give us? And correction and control. That's what the rear brake gives us, correction and control. So sometimes, because we're not robots, if I open up my clutch, sometimes I might open it a little bit more than I want it to. If I'm already covering that rear brake, as soon as I feel that correction, because sometimes just pulling the clutch in is not enough correction. I need to slow down immediately, right? So I'm gonna be on the rear brake right from the start, from this kind of thing, because I'm turning, I got you guys in front of me. But the rules don't change. I'm gonna make sure I'm in first gear. I'm gonna cover the rear brake. Full lock is like a curse word in the motorcycle riding community. Nothing changes. I'm gonna preload. That's good. I apologize. Clutch. Now what I notice is a lot of times I'll look at somebody's clutch hand and it's going like this. I should never see this, right? Unless you want your bike to buck like that, that's the only reason you should be doing this. That's including your rear brake, if I see this. And so what they're doing is, if they don't need power, they're pulling the clutch all the way to the grip. And then when they need the power, now they have to go back and find it. So even if you're somebody that knows if the bike's falling, that's the answer. If the bike is falling and you go to do that, Remember, when it's falling, sometimes that's happening fast, and you're losing precious time trying to find the power. So I want you guys to find out where your friction zone starts. Then I want you to go right before it. And that's where you live all day today. So when you need power, boop. You don't need it, boop, right? And so that's definitely what I'm gonna do here. Right there. So I'm gonna live right there, right before it. Reload, foot up, clutch, rear brake, rear brake. All right. Friction zone, straighten out. Smooth stop. All right, when you take off today, I want it smooth. Reload, clutch, foot up. Okay, now I'm looking right at Willis. My intention is to go to Willis. I pick up my foot, my bike's turning right. What's happening there? Anyone? Bueller. Who said that? Tim. It's falling. Remember, if your intention is to ride straight and your bike starts to turn, that's the start of a fall. So that way, it's letting you know, let me correct it right now. Listen, anything out here, if you correct it as soon as you feel it, it's a small movement with the clutch. Boom, boom. So if you correct it as soon as you feel it, it's not a big deal. The problem is we wait until it becomes, oh crap, just correct it. Because it always wants to fall. I'm going very slow. So how do I get past that? Open, close. Now you are gonna see my suspension come up, but it's gonna go right back down. First gear, cover the rear brake, reload. There we go, now I'm good. Friction zone, friction zone, friction zone, rear brake. You guys have any questions on any of that? Oh, beautiful, you guys are gonna be magna cum laude. All right, first thing we're gonna be doing today, guys, smooth, short, starts and stops. Smooth, the highest cones, that's where we're gonna be.
When you were straight time, you did the tight turn this way, were you...
You thought that turn was tight? I'm kidding, go ahead.
For me.
Yeah.
When you were as you were turning, were you releasing the clutch a little bit, or were you keeping in the same friction zone as when you were right here?
Okay, so her question is, when I made that turn, and I'm always gonna share the question, because trust me, you're not the only one thinking it. Not just here, but whoever's watching. When I made that turn, was I playing with the clutch? That's your question. The answer is no. That's why you start out, that's one of those examples of why you start out on the rear brake. Because if I start out already applying pressure to the rear brake, I don't have to worry too much about my clutch being perfect. I'm gonna open up the clutch enough so that the bike won't fall. And I'm gonna use the brake to control that power. Especially right initially, coming from right here, when I first open up the clutch. I can't baby it because it's gonna wanna fall. I need to open it enough so it stays straight up. I want the bike to be straight up. I don't want it to lean. Now, if I feel it starting to lean, no big deal. I'm not gonna open the clutch more because it's already open enough. I'm just gonna take my foot off the brake, right? So this is what I mean when I say they work together. They work together. Sometimes I might have to open the clutch a little. It all depends, right? And that's what I mean when I say being the boss is knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And it's all based on what you feel. There's 100 ways to do everything, guys. So if you do something and it works for you, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but if something you're doing doesn't make, if I feel like it could be a problem, I am gonna introduce, for instance, are there any throttle blippers out here? Little bit. So I run into problems with throttle blippers because, but again, if it's your muscle memory, it's not a big deal. But all it's doing is giving you something else to do. And also with throttle blipping, what you're doing is small increments of taking, giving back, taking, giving back, instead of just keeping it there. So if I need it, it's there. But anyway, I'm not trying to take that away from any of you. The tall cones. We're gonna start at a cone, stop at a cone. Now hit road glide people. I know you don't know where the front wheel is. This is why I need you to practice on your motorcycle with cones, because you should know where it is based on judgment. I don't want your front wheel, guys, to pass those cones. And the reason I love that exercise is forcing you to be the boss of your motorcycle. It's a very short distance. We don't have speed to rely on. So if you're one of these people that want to go fast and stop, no. Start out smooth, stop smooth. That's that exercise, okay? If you want to do open close, that's fine to get past that. Only if you need it though. And keep this in mind, the braking, that is progressive, guys. What I mean is, most people will start, and if that's the cone, that's where it'll brake. If you wait that long, it's gonna be an abrupt stop. As soon as you start, you could be on the brake, just like I was when I made that turn. And you should be braking progressively. Brake, brake, friction zone, brake, 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 brake. Bing! So that's why this stop comes in handy too, because when you're braking, as soon as your heel hits the ground, you should be finishing it off. Boom. Beautiful, right? That's the goal, okay? Cone to cone to cone. Any questions? Friction zone, friction zone, friction zone. Right here, rear brake. Open the clutch up a little bit more. And I'm doing based on what I feel. Good, good. And I want to see the handlebars kind of moving. There we go. See, I felt it falling, I addressed it. But rear brake right away. Friction zone, rear brake, head nice, straight ahead. All right, let's do it. All right, so we got Andy going first. North Carolina Ambassador, beautiful. Beautiful, and I'm on the wrong side. I want to look at its clutch. Good job, one more. As usual, excellent. Staging. Kickstand, kickstand, kickstand. Did you guys see that? He put his kickstand up, the bike was barely moving, never put a foot down. That's what I'm talking about. Smooth stuff. Too much speed, Pete. A little slower. There we go. That's what I want to see. See his handlebars? I want to see him work that out. Good job. One more. Clutch, clutch, clutch. Beautiful. See how his bike started turning? That's the start of a fall. Excellent job, Pete. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a start of a fall, and he corrected it. Clutch, rear brake. All right, next cone. Good, friction zone, beautiful. See the handlebars? That's what you want to see. All right, it's falling right there. Give me one more. It's falling again. So I want you to stay in the friction zone all the way until you stop. Then put your foot down. Good. Friction zone. Go into it a little bit more if you need to. Rear brake, rear brake, rear brake. There you go. Look at the difference. Good job, man. If you take that friction zone away too early, the bike's going to start falling. It's that simple. Beautiful. Clutch, clutch. That's okay. Good, good. See, handlebars, handlebars. Good. Good. Good, friction zone. See, right there. See how it was falling? I watched you pull that clutch in while that bike was still moving. Keep it out until it stops. Do it again. Good. Friction zone. Stay in the friction zone. There you go. Good job, man. Beautiful. Next cone. All right. Too much speed, Trey. And you're past the cone. Front wheel at the cone. Foot up. Too much speed. You know why I know it's too much speed? Because your handlebars are straight as an arrow. I want to see that. Yeah, I want to see that. I want you to work through it. There we go. There we go. Friction zone. Beautiful, Trey. Give me another one of those. Outstanding, man. Good job. All right, next cone. All right, the stop's excellent, but when you're starting, that foot this far behind you. Pick it up right away. Preload, clutch, foot up. Good. Good, good, good. Excellent. One more. Good, good. You saying ah, that was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. I know he wanted the handlebars to be straight, and that's why he's saying ah, but he was good. All right, that's 10 push-ups, front brake. Get off that front brake. Rear brake. Whoa, 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 whoa. Make sure you follow the first 5 steps. Okay, preload. Clutch, foot up, clutch, clutch, clutch. All right, head and eyes straight ahead. Right now you're looking down here.
Okay.
Keep your head and your eyes straight ahead. Let's go through this together. What's step number 1? Make sure it's in first gear, do it. Make sure it's in first gear, do it. Good, cover the rear brake. Preload the throttle, let me hear your preload. Keep it loaded, good. Clutch. Open it, foot up, foot up. Okay. Okay, so what's happening now is you're opening the clutch, and wherever you open it, you're keeping it there. That's why the bike's going so fast. Open the clutch, and as soon as that bike picks up, pull it in a little. Don't pull it all the way in, because you still need the friction zone to keep moving. Open it, close it a little bit. Drag that rear brake the whole time. Stay in the friction zone until you stop, then pull the clutch in. Slight pressure. But the further you progress in this, the more pressure you should be applying, because you want to stop at that cone. All right, but keep that throttle loaded and stay in the friction zone. Remember, open, close it a little. Open it up, open it, close it a little. Good, good. Clutch, clutch, clutch. Rear brake, rear brake, rear brake. That's already better. Right now, your clutch is doing this. You don't need that. Nice, nice. But that was excellent. Give me again. Up, good. Preload, clutch, foot up. Pull it in a little, a little. Clutch, 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 clutch. Rear brake, rear brake, rear brake. Beautiful. So right now, you're pulling the clutch all the way into the grip. So, but that was beautiful. Good job. That's amazing how you can just, sometimes it's just the smallest of corrections. And whatever issue was going on starts to disappear. All right, you ready? Next cone. All right, get that, yeah, and get that foot up as soon as you start moving. Now remember, when you open up the clutch, you don't keep it open that same amount because it's going to be going too fast. Open it and close it a little. Then at the end, if you need some, you start opening it, but brake, 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 brake.
And am I stopping at the cone or at the white spot?
At the cone.
Okay.
I don't know what these white dots are. That's not got nothing to do with me.
Okay. Not this one, but
The next one. Yeah, this is the one you stopped at now. All right, too much speed. Too much speed. Open the clutch, then immediately close it a little. Preload, clutch. Good, good, good. There you go. Close it a little. Now you see right now it's abrupt. Your stop is like this. And that's partially because you pulled the clutch in way before you stop. So now you're just relying on the bike balancing itself. We want the friction zone to pull us all the way to the end. So stay in that friction zone all the way until you put your foot down. Then pull it in. Okay, preload. Foot up. Pull it in a little, pull it in. Too much speed, too much speed. See, the reason why you could coast into these stops is because you've got too much speed to begin with. Go slower. Good. Open the clutch. Close it a little. Close it a little. Good. 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 Stay in the friction zone. See, it's falling? Because you're not in the friction zone enough. Try it again. Open it. Open it. Close it a little. Good. Good. Now start opening. Friction zone. Friction zone. Rear brake. Rear brake. There you go. But you're heavy on that rear brake right now. We'll work on that. Good job. And on her motorcycle, the front suspension might be a little bit more, it might be softer. I'll take a look at that, but it doesn't matter. You can still stop that bike smoothly. Good. Next cone. Okay, so two problems. One, you got no preload. You're just kind of opening the clutch. Let me hear your preload. Good. Keep it there. Preload. Give me more preload. More preload. This preload's low. All right, too much speed. Too much speed. Too much speed.
Just a second.
And that only happened because you looked at me.
I know, right?
Why did it drop?
Well, number one, I looked at you. I didn't have any tension on the rear wheel at that point anyway.
There you go. There you go. No power to the rear wheel. So I want you to give me a little bit more preload because right now it's still low.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead. Start there. Start her up.
What I do is I'm bad to use these two.
Say it again.
I'm bad to use the combination of these two to start. So this is a very different thing than what I'm used to.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Preload. Good. Clutch. Open the clutch. Foot up. Okay. So you're picking up your foot like this. You got it way behind you, right? Pick that foot up right away. And when you were right there, you pulled this clutch in. Now you got nothing controlling the bike. Keep that clutch in the friction zone all the way until you put your foot down. Then pull it in. Stay in the friction zone the whole time. Reload. Give me more. Good. Clutch. Clutch. Foot up. Pull it in a little. Pull the clutch in a little. Good. Friction zone. Friction zone. Friction zone. Don't look down. Keep your head in your eyes. Straight ahead. All right, let's try that again. Remember, when you open the clutch, as soon as the bike starts to move, pull it in a little. You don't want to go too fast. I want to see your bars. I want you to work it out. Reload. Clutch. Foot up. Good. Pull it in a little. Friction zone. Friction zone. See, a little bit too much speed right there. One more. Head and eyes. Straight ahead. Head and eyes. Straight ahead. Straight ahead. Good. Foot up. Pull it in a little. We'll work on it. Reload. Clutch, clutch, clutch. Good. All right. Next cone. Don't pass it. All right. Too much speed. See how straight your handlebars are from cone to cone? I want to see your handlebars doing that. That's how slow I want you going. And don't pass the cone. You pass this one. Clutch, clutch, good. There we go. There we go. Not bad. Give me another one. Put that foot up. Good, good. Friction zone. Stay in the friction zone. See, right now you got the clutch all the way in. Stay in that zone all the way until you put your foot down. That wasn't bad at all, though. Good. Keep your hand right there. Rear brake, rear brake, rear brake. Friction zone, friction zone, friction zone. All right, let's try that again. If you still feel it falling, open the clutch a little bit more. Foot up, clutch, clutch, clutch. Good. Stay in the friction zone all the way to the end. Friction zone, rear brake, rear brake. All right, one more. Good, good. Friction zone, friction zone, friction zone, friction zone. All right, not bad at all. You're falling a little bit because you pulled that in. Make sure you keep that open till that foot hits the ground. Then pull it in. Good job. Nice. Next cone. Good. Good. Beautiful. Give me another one. Outstanding. One more. Oh my God. That was beautiful, man. Somebody's been practicing. All right, guys. Wasn't that beautiful? Look at them. Oh my God. Listen, all right, guys. I'm going to talk to them about this exercise. So important. All right, let's do it. Hey, any questions? Yes.
So you said as we're coming to the stop, your foot should come down only after you've stopped, really.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're hitting the brake, not hitting, gently applying the brake, and then foot down, and then the clutch comes in?
That's right.
Okay.
And so this is what,
yep.
and this is what I mean when I say stop on a motorcycle is not just stopping, right? There's technique involved in everything we do if we do it properly, right? So the funny part is, well, not funny part, but when you guys rode up to that first cone, most of your stops were beautiful. But now when I make you go cone to cone, not so much. Why? Because on the approach, you had speed. So it's easy to have speed and come to a smooth stop. And that's why I told you, I want you going so slow. I want to see this. Because again, I want to create this. Because we already know how to ride like this fast, so we don't need work on that. So we got to create that out here. And we create it because when it does happen, it's nothing but a thing, right? Okay, guys, that exercise is super important, super important. And I love tell me your name again? Wendy. I love what I saw from Wendy. A couple of other people too, Trey too. Because initially, well really Trey, initially he was going too fast. Again, if you go fast, your handlebars are gonna be straight. So I don't have to know your speed to know you're going too fast. Soon as he went slow, right out the gate. Because what did I tell you is happening when it's falling? As soon as he felt that, clutch, made the correction. Now that doesn't mean you're not gonna have to make other corrections, but what this is also doing is making you more comfortable. You don't have to panic every time you feel this. Because sometimes you could do this for a while and you'll be fine. And when you need power, you give it power. You're not gonna always have a lot of space where you can give it a lot of power. That's why that's important. Also, like I said before, it's forcing you at a very slow speed to be in total control of the motorcycle, using the friction zone and the rear brake, okay? They're your friends. That's how I want you riding slowly all day today. When we do the slow ride, that's what we're gonna be doing. No matter what we do, at the end of it, when you stop, that's how I want you stopping. Now, having said that, I'm still gonna get some people I know that's gonna stop coming out of speed because that's your habit. I get it, it's not gonna happen overnight. I'm gonna tell you, slow down. Unless there's somebody I see clearly has it, then don't worry about it, you got it. But you're always practicing. Any other questions? Outstanding.